Good morning. The next melacha brought in the Mishnah is hamafshito, that one who removes the skin of an animal. After capturing and slaughtering the animal, they would go ahead and remove the skin in order to use it to make into hides to be used for curtains or coverings of the Mishkan. This prohibition of hamafshit, of skinning an animal, applies to all animals equally, including birds and fish, and thus skinning a raw fish or raw chicken is undoubtedly the question, the malacha minha Torah of hamafshit, of skinning an animal. What happens though if we've cooked the fish or the chicken and we want to go ahead and remove the skin after it was cooked? Is that allowed? There are those that are machmir, including Kitzur Hilchos Shabbos, who implies that particularly if one dislikes eating that skin, then they should really only remove it immediately prior to eating it, because it may present an issue of hamafshit, or more likely, it may present an issue of borer in such a situation. However, others are lenient for the following reasons. The first is Rav Moshe Feinstein, in the context of a tshuva on borer, explains that removing skin of cooked chicken is not considered borer, because by the process of cooking it, the skin has actually already become partially detached and is not considered attached or a mixture for that manner. And based on that tshuva, Rav David Ribiat, the author of Lamites Malachos, suggests that the same is true by mafshit, by skinning, and that it's already considered detached and no longer a prohibition of skinning. Secondly, the Aruch HaShulchan and Rav Moshe both explain that through the process of cooking, it turns the skin into a food itself, because even if we do not like to eat it, it is considered normal to go ahead and eat the skin of chicken. And some people go ahead and do that, and therefore it now loses its status of skin and becomes food to which there is no prohibition of mafshit or borer. Finally, the third possibility given is that the meat itself, even if we say the skin maintains its status as skin, but the meat itself, by the process of cooking, turns into, from being considered an animal into being considered meat or food. And therefore, as a result, the skin, though it is still skin, is not subject to the prohibition of mafshit, because there's no such thing as skinning off of food, only skinning off an animal, and the meat itself has now the animal itself has turned into meat and no longer considered an animal. There is a difference, which reason we assume because if we have, for example, fish, which has a hard skin and remains inedible and clinging to the meat, then if it's because of the reasons Rav Moshe, the Aruch HaShulchan, gave of being loose or the skin itself becoming the food, then when we say that the skin remains inedible or tight, then perhaps we should be machmir. If it's because the fish loses its status as an animal, thereby causing the skin not to be considered skin anymore, then there seems to still be room to be lenient. The bottom line is, certainly for raw chicken or fish, one cannot remove the skin. Certainly for chicken or similar skin where the skin becomes edible and already somewhat loose, then it is mutter to remove on Shabbos. If it's an inedible skin that remains steadfast, tight to the meat, then there seems to be more reason to be strict, although there certainly could be leniencies there as well, particularly immediately prior to eating. Have a great day.